Melo released a video on social media moments ago saying, quote, "The time has come for me to say goodbye." Anthony, who turns 39 next week, did not play this season and last played with the Lakers in 2021-2022. So, Vince, I'll start with you. Your reaction to Carmelo Anthony's, applause.
Man, many battles against Melo. It was great to see, if you would, his redemption return when a lot of us felt that he should not have been out of the league, regardless of what people thought, and him come back and just dominate. He's had an unbelievable career. Now he gets to enjoy his kid doing some great things in the circuit right now. So, I applaud him. And it's always tough, as a player, when you're trying to decide about retiring, when is the right time? So I always respect the guy when he says, it's over and it's time to move on. So kudos to Carmelo Anthony.
Wendy, what do you think? How do we put Carmelo Anthony's career in perspective here?
First ballot Hall of Famer, all-time great college player, tremendous scorer, one of the great scorers that we've ever seen. Kind of changed the game with his isolation play. Was one of the fastest release shots I've ever seen. And, bounced around a little bit in his career. Maybe not every choice he made was ideal, but extremely well-respected and well-liked. Huge for the Olympic team, one of the greatest performers in all of USA basketball history, tremendously decorated Olympic career. And I'll say this, there's a little bit of a schism between him and the Nuggets because of the way he left. Now that this announcement has come, and with Denver one game away from the finals, it would be terrific for the fans in Denver if they could honor Carmelo potentially during this upcoming finals. He's a huge part of their history. They haven't had a lot of success, and he brought them some.
Let's keep in mind, too, that Jamal Murray is a Nugget because of the Carmelo Anthony trade. That was one of the last draft picks that was sent in that deal. But I got to cover Carmelo Anthony when he was traded to New York. I was part of the beat writers at the time that went through that whole process when he was traded at the All-Star game. Literally, I went from one team to another, one Western Conference to the Eastern Conference. But I'll say this, because Wendy said it all about his career. When you talk about Olympics, Melo, you talk about a special player. I saw a very determined scorer. At times, he was maniacal about his ability to score one-on-one. He thought he could beat anyone. And there weren't many players in the league that thought they could stop him. That was the other thing, the respect that he got around the league. But let's just also talk about the evolution of a man, of somebody that came out of Syracuse, that was a young star, that had to go through some stuff early in his NBA career, had to have a talking to from David Stern at one point about the way he was behaving. And what he's turned into now, just as a human being, and everything that he has done with himself post-career has been impressive. So I, again, like Vince said, I applaud him for everything that he's become, and I look forward to seeing what his son can become as well.
Yeah, Carmelo Anthony is one of the greatest scorers in this generation of basketball. But to piggyback off of something you said, the evolution of the man, but also the evolution of the player in Carmelo Anthony, because I remember once upon a time when he was moved from the Knicks to OKC, he scoffed at the idea of coming off of the bench, but then he reinvented himself at other stops in his career, namely Portland and then with the Los Angeles Lakers, accepting any role that the team had for him, and that was a part of the leadership, that intangible that he brought when he went to those stops later on as his career winded down. So for a guy to have that type of humility at that stage in his career, after being staunch in his approach and his perspective and wanting to be in the starting lineup and being one of the best scorers in the league, to me, that was impressive. And let that be a lesson to a lot of young players that are in the NBA now of doing all of the little things in order to help your team win at the highest level.
All very well said. Again, to recap, Carmelo Anthony officially announcing his retirement on social media just moments ago after a 19-year NBA career, an excellent, outstanding career. 3-0. Their 8-0 record is the worst in NBA history. So they're up against it. But, Alan Hahn, who doesn't think it's over, is Lonnie Walker. Listen to Lonnie and what he had to say.
It ain't over till it's 4 games, and that's the best part about it. Kings don't look down when they got crowns on their head. You don't want that to fall. So we're not over with. We're a whole bunch of Kings over here. We're ready to eat. We're starving.
Kings don't starve. That's my big problem with the metaphor. But
Yeah.
what did you think of that?
Yeah, Kings generally
Kings eat that. Like it's
anytime
one of their
they
things.
want.
Whenever they feel like it,
Isn't
they
that
just
always the image
call for
of
food,
Kings
and
with
it
food
shows
all
up.
around
Right,
them?
exactly.
And
But anyway,
so
let's not get hung
it is
up.
Lonnie Walker the fourth.
Yes.
So you need to win 4.
Okay.
So I guess maybe that's what he's feeling as well. That 4 is very important for him. Remember, he had a huge fourth quarter in the previous series as well. So perhaps this is the point of now these series when they go down. A team goes down 0-3, you find all the platitudes and all the cliches and all the different ways that you can motivate yourself to believe that it's not over when everybody around you is telling you no, it's over. Like it's nobody comes back from this. So I respect what he's having to say there. You just have to feel like for the Lakers that this series can't be over in 4. Like this story can't end in a sweep. Can it? It shouldn't, because it's been a fun story. It's been a great story. This is a prideful team. They do play hard. I don't think this is like a Celtic situation at all with quitting and giving up. So I do expect to see the Lakers fight all the way to the end here. I just don't know. I mean, they're not coming back in the series. Clearly, history says they won't. But I don't think that they'll be a team that will go down without a fight.
So, I mean, the game is on our air tonight. We'd really like people to watch.
Well,
The series is
you
still
want to watch because it could be the last time you see LeBron James in the conference finals. Like
Could be the last time we see LeBron. LeBron James has been a mainstay in conference finals for 2 decades. Right. Brian Windhorst, what do you think about that idea? Is this it?
I don't think so, because I have just respect for the players want to play for the Lakers. And I also think they have positive momentum. I think the reason that they're down 3-0 in this series is that they've maxed out what this roster had, and they've run into a team that's awesome. And I also think that they still have some cards to play. They still have, potential cap space this summer with Kyrie Irving out there. Now, I'd need a whiteboard and Bobby Marks sitting next to me to explain how they can do it, but it's not impossible. They still have a first-round pick left that they can trade. They still have some salaries now on this roster that they can move. So I think it would be, a mistake to say that this is the end of this Lakers situation. It's the end of this season, but I don't think it's the end of LeBron still competing at a high level.
I don't think I heard anything you said after Kyrie Irving. That one threw me for a loop. I can't even. We have to get. I'll tell you. Look, I said this earlier. We are definitely going to dig in on that in our next segment. But to keep it on LeBron for a second, Vince, do you agree with the idea that this could be his last conference finals? Or do you think there's more left?
I want to say this about what Lonnie Walker said. If I'm LeBron James and if I'm Anthony Davis, and I look in this locker room or at practice. And I'm saying, if you don't believe, don't show up, don't come in our locker room, and definitely don't step on the floor if you don't believe. Regardless of what we say or others are believing, that can't be the mentality. Obviously, he's a champion, he's a winner in LeBron, and that's what you want to hear, regardless of if we or they or whoever believes it or not. It's saying the right things, because I don't want you stepping into the locker room. Now, as far as, conference finals and can they make it back, it could go either way. It's 50-50. But I look at the West alone. Nuggets, the Kings, the Warriors, the Clippers, the Suns. What are we going to get from the Grizzlies? What's going to happen there? The Pelicans, when they get Zion back. Oh, and the Dallas Mavericks. What's going to happen there? Obviously, if they keep that guy Kyrie like we talked about. So I think there's a lot of teams that are on the cusp or will power up this summer to make it tough. It's going to be a tough one, and I love it. It's going to be parity. We don't know what's going to happen, and that's great for the league.
All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, I want to just jump right back into this conversation about the Lakers and their future, and if Kyrie